In this story, I'm talking to people with disabilities specifically. Sometimes people in the church are well-meaning and they don't mean any harm when they constantly bring up what you can't do from what you can do. And I know from personal experience that although they don't mean to be harsh, it becomes like a crutch around your neck and you end up crying in your sleep and wondering why God made you this way. Why couldn't He make you regular? Quote unquote regular. And I'm not putting down healing, and I'm not saying that God doesn't want everyone to be healed and whatever. I'm not saying that at all. He does. There are myriads of scriptures that say He does. But I am saying that God's plans are not our plans. And sister, brother, He made you exactly the way He saw you. He gave you the gifts. He gave you the talents. He gave you everything you need to advance His kingdom. Maybe the reason He didn't give you legs is because you need to minister to people without legs. Maybe the reason He put you in a wheelchair is because you need to minister to people in a wheelchair, and you need to minister not to their physical bodies, but to their heart and to their soul. And I believe that sometimes, because we don't see the plan of God, and because we only see through our narrow lens, I think on both sides, sometimes the person with a disability can feel rejected and hurt, and the people like the pastors or the friends or the people at their church, they're just trying to help. They think they're trying to help, but they're hurting. So I have something to say to all the pastors out there. Beloved pastor, whether it be a man or a woman, most people with disabilities already feel that they are misplaced and they're not loved in some way. So rather than focusing on the fact that they need healing or they need this or they need that, focus on the fact that they have a heart, they have a soul, they have a spirit, they have spiritual needs, they have spiritual wants, they have desires beyond that, they have desires for school, desires for success. And I think we live in a society now that is so progressive that anything can happen for them. So don't limit them because you think in your mind that they need to be healed or they need to focus on that. Try and bring out the purpose in them. That is your first job as a pastor for anybody, to first of all bring them to Christ and then tell them about the purpose in them, and let God use your words to transform their lives. And if they're verbal, I would suggest to any pastor, sit down with them. Sit down with them, have a meeting with them, talk to them, not about the disability, but find out who they are, find out what they like to do, find out what their lifestyle's like, find out how you can help them, find out about who they are, what their dreams are, what their goals are, what their purpose is, rather than focusing on their disability. And to the disabled person, forgive your pastor and forgive the friends at your church that have hurt you. Forgive the people who excluded you because you were in a wheelchair or had some disability. Know that they are just people with fallacies and with shortcomings, and sometimes when you're a pastor you don't like to admit that you have shortcomings, that you don't know what you don't know. So I would suggest to sit down with your pastor and say, look, this is how I'm feeling. I would suggest, no matter how big the church is, to communicate with someone in leadership, to say, look, this is how I'm feeling, these are my goals, these are my dreams, and initiate it. And I don't care how many times you have to knock. If you don't get anyone the first time, keep knocking. And whatever you do, don't leave the place where God's ordained you to be. If God's ordained you to be at that church, stay there. If God's ordained you to be with that fellowship, stay there. Don't leave because of hurt or because of pain. Talk it out. Communicate with your pastor. Communicate with the elders. Because oftentimes, even without a disability, people leave church hurt without communicating. They just say, I'm not coming back. And that is not the right thing to do, because I'll tell you what happens. No matter where you go, no matter how good the next fellowship is you attend, you'll always have that regret, and you'll always have to remember that you didn't leave off on the right foot with that person, with that leader, with that elder, with that friend. And the devil will use it as a guilt trip. So it's best to talk to whoever at your church or the leadership and tell them how you're feeling and how they can help you. Invite them over for dinner if you can, or set up a meeting, or do whatever you have to, but don't ever leave. Don't ever leave thinking that this is it. These people are nuts. I'm leaving. These people don't see me. These people don't get me. I'm leaving. I'll give my gift and talent somewhere else. And if you're called to leave a ministry, first of all, square everything away with the pastor or the leadership. Sit down and have a meeting to say, I think I'm called to go to another ministry for this reason. Have them pray over you, release you. And so that you feel you both are okay with the decision. God has blessed the decision, and He can release you, or she. Alright, YouTube, I hope you enjoyed my short story. Bye.